So Ingtar, when I read it, right, like
Mhm.
the Ingtar's number one moment is when Rand was running through the halls of Faldara
Oh,
Keep,
yeah.
trying to find the dungeons,
Yep. To find Egwene.
and as he was doing this, he ran across a fade or Murdral, and he found himself alone with the Murdral.
Yeah, scared to death.
Yeah, and the Murdral was like cleaning the blood of three other Shinaran soldiers off its blade.
I feel like it was more, but yeah.
But
A
yeah,
lot of Shinaran soldiers.
Rand was like, all right, I guess I'm doing this. And he raised his sword and he was shaking. And then, like, he knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
But then Ingtar shows up and he says, try yourself on a Trolloc or two before you try one of these. And, he basically says, like, you go find your girl.
Mm-hmm.
I've got this.
To Rand's credit, he does say, we'll take it together.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm not going to leave you. Like, yeah. But then Ingtar's like, no, you go. I got this.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, man.
I got this.
So cool.
Like that's the moment. That's the Ingtar
That
moment.
is the Ingtar moment. I mean, there's the other one at the end of Eye of the World, where Ingtar is escorting the group to the Blight. And he says, if I ride hard, I might be able to make it to the Blight. And at least I can fight there. And Nynaeve says something along the lines of, are you so eager to fight? And he says, it's what I do. Like, all in confusion, literally looks for additional description from Lan. Because Lan obviously gets it.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever had to explain that. Like,
Yeah.
why would I not go and fight the Trollocs? And
Yeah.
so like this is like who Ingtar is. He serves as a mentor for Rand
Mm-hmm.
in how to lead men.
Yeah.
His first example for Rand in his like growth
to
become a leader of military
men.
military men and military campaigns. Ingtar was his guy.
Yeah, like Rand's first mentor for military campaigning was Ingtar. I would add, in many ways, he told Rand how to be a man with regards to responsibility as well.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
He was like, you are my second. You will do your duty.
Right, when he gives him the dragon banner, or returns the dragon banner to him.
Yeah, unknowingly, at least.
Right, that's true. So, of course, later in the book, we find out, in the Great Hunt, we find out that, isn't the Great Hunt, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he's in fact a dark friend.
Yes.
And then, and we can tell that he's a very repentful.
Yes.
That's the right word.
Even abhorrent dark friend, if you will. Like, he abhors what he is.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's very regretful that he is a dark friend. And
yeah, you see that throughout the entire book series.
Yeah. And he kind of shows that he wants to make up for what he's done, and that's why he's pushing so hard to find the horn.
Mm-hmm. He is the key example of you cannot walk in the shadows so long as that you can't step back into the light, right?
Yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and read from the companion.
You can't just go over the fact that that was such a huge moment in the book series. Like, that shocked me to the core.
Yeah, that's true. It was the first time you realized that selfish people,
Mm-hmm.
like we saw in the Eye of the World, that were dark friends. people who were just trying to get ahead in the world for their own selfish gain.
Yeah.
That was the first hint of how widespread and pervasive dark friends are in truth in the world.
Yeah, and I would really add to that. Even people that you respect, that you look up to, could be potentially dark friends, right? Because the reality is Ingtar was one of the few badass men up until this point in the series that consistently chatted and like talked and was someone to converse with, right? Because Lan just doesn't.
Yeah, and it also shows that even the people who are like actively fighting, like and fighting hard, like killing Trollocs, fighting Murdrolls, killing Murdrolls,
Yeah,
can somehow also be dark friends.
yeah, while still having disdain for the shadow.
Right.
Coming to the conclusion that this fight is not going to be won.
Yeah, and we hear, so if you go back and you reread The Great Hunt with the knowledge that Ingtar is in fact a dark friend, you start to see that seep through while they're marching, while they're chasing the horn. Ingtar starts talking about how far we've fallen, and soon there will be no one left. That's kind of like the dark friend mentality.
But he's also seeking redemption in the light. Like you see these selfless acts in like the Gap, for example. Like he wants to go and fight the shadow.
Yeah. He's actively wants to go fight the shadow, and he's like doing an excellent job. And in this great hunt, right? Their names escape me, but the two men who were with Padan Fain with the horn.
Yeah, the guards.
Right, the guards who were there in the dungeon.
Found up later with the tree.
Yeah, they were
mutilated.
Fain had mutilated them, put them in the tree. I think the story on those two guys are interesting in that Egwene mentions that they were, laughing, they were good-natured when she first came, but then by the time Rand came and visited, they were very sullen and they were cruel and mean.
Yeah, influenced by Padan Fain.
Or infected.
Infected, yeah, that's a good term.
By Padan Fain. And so then comes the question, were they in fact dark friends? Or were they just infected by Padan Fain and came along?
I think that's a great question.
I'm curious what other people think. If you have something to say on the topic, go ahead and leave us a comment so we can continue that really interesting topic.
I would like to steer us back to the companion now that I've had our conversation on Ingtar as a dark friend. Just because he's so badass.
Okay. All right, here it is. Okay. Ingtar Shinowa, a Shinaran lord and soldier who was also a dark friend. His sigil was the Grey Owl. Ingtar greeted Moiraine, Rand, and their party when they reached Faldara, and took them to Lord Agelmar. When Moiraine and the others started for the Blight, he led them to the Blight border, although he was worried that he would miss the battle at Tarwin's Gap. At a meeting of Dark Friends, Ingtar received orders, and he encountered Rand and a Murdral. He sent Rand away and went with the Fade to free Fain. After the Horn of Valere was stolen, Ingtar led the men south to find it, with Huron as his guide. When Rand, Huron, and Loyal crossed to the parallel world, he worried that he wouldn't be able to follow the Horn, but Perrin stepped up and helped him follow. Ingtar and his men arrived in Carrion just after the horn had been stolen again. He went with Rand to Barthane's manor, steading Tsofu, and through the portal stone to Tomon Head. He led the party to Falma, where they recovered the horn and the dagger. After confessing to Rand, he sacrificed himself to save Rand and the others.
Okay. So, the first thing from this is the fact that he betrayed Rand and went with the Murdral to the prison just hurt me so bad.
Yeah, this was a complete shock to me. And even reading this just now was, again, like I've read it before, but reading it again was still, like, rough.
Yeah. Like in my own headcanon, it was something along the lines of, well, he was a dark friend, but he didn't let them in, and he still fought the Madral, right? Or even a different alternative one is he just stared down the Madral while the Madral did what it had to do, right? Like something along the lines of like that I can respect.
Yeah.
Right.
I in my head, when I read through the books, it never occurred to me, because Ingtar was so dedicated to hunting down the horn, and he was so dedicated to fighting at Tarwin's Gap, and like everything about him was about like fighting and killing Trollocs, and
that's what he was.
It never occurred to me that he would have not fought that fade.
Yeah, same.
I completely believed that he went blade to blade with that fade, and he injured it, and it ran off.
Like, I don't want to believe this.
Yeah, this hurts.
Right.
That he told Rand to run, and then he basically went up and like shook hands with the Murdral.
Yeah.
And then went and like guided it down to open up the cells for Fane.
You know how their trip to Tomon Head included all the flicker other lives? In my headcanon, one of those flickers, he really decided, I'm not going to go with this Murdral. And I'm just, you can't ruin that for me.
We don't know what he saw, but the fact that he came back like blubbering, like, is there nothing I can do to redeem myself? It was essentially what he was saying.
Yeah.
Tells me that in every life that he saw, he was a dark friend.
Oh, I would have said the opposite.
Oh, interesting. In my head, what he saw was, I'm always a dark friend. In all the possible lives, I am a dark friend. And he hates that. But that's interesting.
Right? Because he could have been like, in my other lives, I fought and I died for what I believed in. What am I doing? And like he was seeking redemption, right? With the horn.
Yeah, so like how you read that was, in every other life, I'm a outstanding person for the light, but in me, who I am now, I'm a dark friend. I'm extra ashamed of who I am because I saw who I could be.
Yeah. I mean, the reality was probably a mix of the two, right? He probably saw himself doing horrid things that he didn't even think he was capable of, and then living lives that he was the best he could be, right?
Yeah, interesting. Okay. I think we should call this one. Jeez. Ingtar, man.
The betrayal of Ingtar is probably one of my favorite moments of the book series.